Hey book buddies, Katy here, and I'm back. I think that is for sure the longest hiatus I've ever taken from this channel, and I'm sorry, but yeah, I'm back. Initially, I was gonna go over a list of all the reasons that I've been gone, but it was starting to sound like the TikTok audio from Real Housewives that's like,
Tom's house was broken into and he confronted the burglar and then had to go have eye surgery, and then my son had to go over and help, and then my son...
I've been going through a lot, but that's okay, I'm back. And today I thought I'd do a really quick wrap up of all the books that I read while I was gone. And you would think being gone for a year would mean that I would have a ton of books to discuss today, but you would be wrong. I read very few. First, I read Jane Darrellfield and the Madwoman Next Door by Barbara Ross. This is a cozy mystery novel about an older woman who is solving the mystery of her next door neighbor, who's a young woman who's gone missing. And it was pretty good. I have probably mentioned in videos before I disappeared that I have been really picky about the type of books I can read right now. I'm just really hypersensitive to a lot of things that don't make sense to be sensitive towards right now. So I have to read books that are just in a very specific genre with very specific requirements, otherwise I have a panic attack. And cozy mystery is one of those genres that is generally safe for me. I say that, but I'm still really picky. And this one fit the bill. So our main character is very no nonsense. She's still very, cozy mystery. She goes and has a cup of tea and she has a garden, but she solves this mystery. She doesn't play around, she's not stupid. She goes to talk to this person to get information and then she acts on it, and then my air conditioner went off. Sorry about the sound, by the way. I'm doing my best. I moved, if you can't tell, so I'm getting a new set up. What I was saying is she gets things done. She'll talk to somebody here, she'll go do what needs to be done there. She talks to somebody here, she does what needs to be done over there. She's not like some of the cozy mystery main characters who are like, wow, this man sure is creepy, but I'm sure he's innocent. I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll give incriminating evidence to this random bystander. Maybe I'll go interfere in a police investigation. She doesn't do any of this dumbassery. She's here for business, and I appreciate that. It does have a little bit of romance in it, which is one of those things that I don't want to read right now, but it wasn't too bad. She has a boyfriend who will come over, bring her food, and then leave, so I appreciate that. And I thought that the mystery itself was pretty compelling and well executed, so I would give this book probably 4 stars. Next, I read In the House, in the Dark of the Woods by Laird Hunt. I don't have the physical book with me because I checked it out from the library and I've had to return it since. But weirdly, out of all the things I can't read, I'm fine with horror if it doesn't have things, that used to upset me in the past, like basically, I don't want to see children get hurt, I don't want to see, animal cruelty or like assault or tons and tons of gore, but usually horror is fine with me. It doesn't bother me. I don't know what that says about me, but it's one of the things that's been just fine. So I especially like horror that takes place in the woods. Just any, you go out into the woods and it's weird out there. I love that. I eat that up. So I picked this one from the library and it was fine. It was very abstract. The plot is that a village puritanical woman colonist is out picking berries for her husband and her son near the woods, and then she gets lost in the woods, and there's a house in the dark of the woods, and just a bunch of creepy stuff happens to her in the woods. Like I said, it's super abstract, really cool concept, but kind of difficult to wrap your head around it. It's very dreamlike, and in some ways it really reminded me weirdly of Over the Garden Wall, in just that it was kind of spooky, quirky in the woods. So definitely the first half kind of had that Over the Garden Wall vibe, which I really like. But then sometimes it would go a little over the top with the horror, and it would be so over the top and in your face that it wasn't scary, it was just stupid. Like, there's one character that she meets in the woods who has a boat that can float in the air, like Peter Pan, except the boat is made out of human skin. Like, why? What? So you're not really scared, you're just like, okay. And what does this say about society? Because the whole thing that he's doing is trying to make this whole metaphor for the experience of being a woman, which is kind of cool because it's a male author, so I appreciate that he tried to tackle that. I don't know if you can hear my dog being a goblin in the background, but I'm sorry. But some of these things just don't really tie in super well. A boat of human skin. I get what he was trying to do. I appreciate it, but it just was poorly executed. There was one scene in it that was truly creepy, and it was like subtly creepy in sort of a Neil Gaiman way, where there's the lady that she meets in the house in the dark of the woods is sitting in a bathtub, and I don't want to give it away, but weird stuff happens. But I read that while I was in the bath because I like to read in the bath because I'm a sophisticated lady. I like to read in the bath with a glass of wine. But that scene was really pretty spooky, and then other scenes were just stupid. So the ending was one of these instances where it was just so over the top that it was funny, and I was laughing to the point where I had tears in my eyes, and it was supposed to be really scary, but it was just ridiculous in a bad way. This is kind of a spoiler, but really it's not. It's not a spoiler at all, so don't worry. Basically, the end scene is that she walks into this room, this kitchen, with a kitchen table, and sitting at the kitchen table is a human-sized bird. This bird that she meets earlier in the book. But now he's huge, large bird, but instead of wings, he has big, beefy human arms, like bodybuilder arms. And he's just sitting there like, like what? And you're supposed to be scared. You're supposed to be looking at it like, oh, that's truly terrifying. It's not. It reminds me, I feel like there's a Tumblr post from way back in the day where somebody drew a bird with big, beefy human arms, but it was like that. Which kind of, in a way, is a little bit over the garden wall of it, but it's also really stupid. Overall, though, it was an interesting concept. Good book if you like in the woods horror, and I'm trying to compile a list of in the woods horror. Let me know if you have any that you would recommend. But I think I'm just gonna give it 3 stars because part of it was kind of not that good. Next, I read Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. This was gifted to me, and I actually have the second 2 in the series also gifted to me by the same person, but I think I need to wait on it because I'm sad. But I did read the first one. I thought it was really good. I have seen the movie, and the movie scared the shit out of me, but I did watch the movie before I was on SSRIs, so horror movies used to scare me a lot more at that time. But regardless, it really haunted me. The book was also really, really creepy. There's a lot of differences between the book and the movie that I thought were pretty interesting, and I really enjoyed it. It's a cosmic horror, which I really like. 2 of the things that scare me the most in this life are the ocean and space, and cosmic horror likes to talk a lot about the ocean and space. But this one was an interesting one because it's not set in the ocean or space. If you never watched the movie and you're not familiar with the plot, basically there's this place called Area X in the middle of an area that used to be civilized, but now it's kind of been overrun by nature. And the military are sending out groups of scientists or people with different specialties to go and study what's going on in there, because something weird is going on in there and you're not sure what it is. And the movie kind of explains to you what it is, but the book does not. It might explain it in the next 2 books, but like I said, I think I'm gonna wait on those for a little bit. The movie was abstract enough with the end. The book is even more. So the main character is the biologist of the group. She never says her name. She goes with a psychologist, a linguistics person. I think there's a military lady, and I can't remember who else is there. But they all go into Area X and study what's happening in there, and it's weird and scary. It's nature horror, which I really like. I've talked about that in the past. I like woods horror, I like nature horror, I like cosmic horror, basically just nature acting weird and creepy. I'm gonna like it. And so I liked this book. It was really cerebral, and the main character is very matter-of-fact. She is very divorced from emotion through a lot of this book. She's just like, okay, I'm in a cave. The cave is creepy. Here's what I'm gonna do. And I like that. And I think overall I'm gonna give this 4 stars. After that, I'd had enough of horror. I'm a mood reader, as I'm sure people who have been subscribed know. And by the way, thank you for sticking around. I really appreciate it, and if I think about it too much, I'll probably cry how much I just really appreciate you guys. I'm a mood reader, so I got a little tired of the horror, so I tried to read some more cozy mystery novels and just found myself getting frustrated with them because the main characters were acting dumb or it was too cozy. Because I'm in this place in my life right now where I want to feel cozy, and I don't want to feel a lot of emotions if they're not just happy contentedness. Sometimes in books, it just gets old if it's so fluffy that it becomes like, what am I reading about right now? For example, one cozy mystery that I tried to read, and I can't remember the title, so I'll just put a picture of it because it was an audiobook and I know I took a screenshot. This old man on a bike gets thrown off of a cliff, and the main character, instead of really focusing on that, spends a huge chunk of the book talking to her coworker at the library who's upset because his girlfriend won't move in with him. It's like, I don't care. Aren't there more pressing matters to attend to right now? And I get that part of cozy mystery as a genre is that it's kind of like a slice of life. There's a mystery going on, but it has a heavy emphasis on like, okay, I got a cat, or let's go to the coffee shop. The power of friendship. And I really like that about cozy mystery novels, and that's part of what is drawing me to them right now. But in this book, it was so egregious that I couldn't finish it. It was like, I don't even know what I'm reading about at this point. I do not care about this random side character's love life. It has no effect on this book and no effect on me, and I'm tired of it. And I also just really don't like hearing about relationship drama right now anyway, so my proclivity to be annoyed is higher than usual. So I DNF'd it, and then there were a couple of others that I DNF'd. I tried to read like five in a row and just ended up DNFing all of them. And then like there was one where the main character was writing a book, and she goes outside and sees two men fighting in the parking lot, and she doesn't hear what they're fighting about, and they're not doing anything particularly interesting. They're just talking with raised voices to each other, and she thinks, oh, that's really interesting, I should put that in my book. Like, I should put an argument in my book? That's so groundbreaking, wow. Like, just stupid things like that. So I tried and failed to read cozy mysteries, so instead I just read a regular mystery thriller type thing, and I read The Guest List by Lucy Foley. This one was recommended to me, and it just so happened to be recommended to me in a time where I could handle things that I haven't been able to handle. It was like this perfect window of like, I can read whatever I want and it's gonna be fine. And it's very Agatha Christie. It takes place on an Irish island, and there's a wedding. So you have the bride, who is a journalist, the groom is an actor on Survivor, a Survivor type show. Then you've got the best man, the wedding planner, a +1, and then the bride's younger sister. So the book is all of them getting ready for the wedding, getting ready for the events leading up to the murder. Spoilers, there's a murder. And you don't know the whole book who it is that's gonna die, but you know somebody's gonna die because it has flash forwards. You don't know who is gonna die, and you don't know who is gonna kill them. But it's just a really interesting, intricate character study of all of these different people on this island, and maybe they're the one who killed them. What motive could they have? Who is it that they might kill? And I just found it really interesting. It is not a cozy mystery, it's just a regular one, and trigger warning for some pretty like awful stuff like self-harm and disordered eating and assaults, just, you know, some bad stuff, harm of a child, things that disturb me on a good day, like before I became extra sensitive. But overall the book was really, really good, and nothing is like too egregious, it's just there, and it was so good. I couldn't guess who it was. I kept thinking, oh, it's this person, for sure it's this person, and then I would be wrong. I got who died pretty fast because you don't know for a fact, but it's pretty easy to guess, but it's very difficult to guess who killed them. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was very good. Very Agatha Christie, and difficult to put down, so I think I'll give this one a 4.5 stars. After that, I started reading a bunch of nonfiction, because nonfiction is relatively safe. It's just cool, I'm gonna learn about this new thing. But I did focus pretty heavily on a specific subgenre that I don't know that I feel comfortable sharing right now because it's a little personal. I'm gonna just describe it as like philosophy self-help, which sounds kind of cryptic, but I'm soul searching. I'm trying to find happiness. And I've toyed around with the idea of making a video of just those books that I've been reading, but I'm worried about the comments fighting with me, and just because, you know, something like philosophy is gonna spark a lot of debate, which usually I don't mind, but right now I'm really sensitive, and just with the debates in this country that I live in right now because of recent news that is horrible and awful, and I'm gonna post some links in the description for resources, just by the way. I love it here so much. All of that combined just makes it to where I don't really want to fight with anybody, so I think for now I'm not gonna mention all of those books that I've been reading, and I might put them in a video later, I don't know. But one nonfiction book that I did read, which isn't like anything too controversial, so I'll talk about it here, is called Rooted by Lyanda Lynn Hoped. I'm so sorry if I butchered that. So yeah, it's called Rooted, Life at the Crossroads Between Science, Nature, and Spirituality, I think. I'll post a screenshot here. I read it on audiobook, but it also has some really beautiful illustrations in the book itself, which I know because I bought a physical copy to give to my mom to force her to read it because I enjoyed it so much, and I leafed through it before I gave it to her. But this book is just about nature and being out in it, and the benefits of being out in nature. It talks about a couple of scientific studies of how going on a hike or being out near some trees is good for you, good for your mental health, good for your physical health. And she also mentions a little bit like different spiritualities who have kind of incorporated nature into their practice. It's not really a religious book at all, and it doesn't subscribe to any particular religion. It just mentions them as kind of anecdotes, but for the most part it focuses on the science behind just being in nature. I really like it. I really enjoyed it a lot. I love being out in nature, so I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a fantastic read, and I'm gonna give it 5 stars. After that, I went back to cozy mystery because I was missing fiction, because I really did read a bunch of nonfiction, a bunch of those like philosophy type books. I was just missing fiction, so I read a book called, screenshot here, I think it's called Murder in an English Garden. I listened to it on audiobook on Audible, and by the way, the narrator was really good. I really enjoyed her narration. So it turns out that I think my favorite subgenre of cozy mystery is specifically an elderly British lady in a small village. I love that. But the book is about this woman named Julia who's in her late 60s, and a couple of weeks before the book takes place, she goes through a divorce because her husband realized that he was gay, which she's very happy for him and it's wonderful for him, but understandably a bit sad for her. But it's fine, she just decides, you know, good for him, that's awesome, he's gonna live his life, and I am going to move to the English countryside, and I'm gonna buy a chicken coop and raise some chickens. And so she goes to the English countryside, she buys a beautiful cottage, and she goes to set up a chicken coop and finds a body in her garden. And then she has to solve the mystery. And I thought the mystery itself was great. There are some things, it's sad. It's a bit of a sad mystery for a cozy mystery novel. The book is very cozy. A small British village, super chill. But she does focus a little bit on like the sadness of the case, which is something I really like about cozy mystery novels, is that they typically don't do that. They're just like, yeah, it's a dead guy. Don't think about it. We're gonna solve it, but don't think about how it's sad. And that's what usually makes it bearable for me right now, because like any sort of like thinking about death right now, I don't like to do that. So it was a bit sad, and some of the things surrounding the mystery were like relationship drama, like very soap opera-y kind of thing, which is really good if you're interested in that, but for me specifically, I was kind of like, but the mystery itself was really good, really compelling, and I really enjoyed the main character. She was, again, like very smart. I liked all the side characters. I was engaged throughout the whole thing. I really liked it, and I think I'll give it 4 stars. After that, I went to listen to another audiobook called Murder at Seascape House. I'm still listening to it. I haven't finished it yet. I've been listening to books at work. I'm an engineer, so I have a lot of time to just sit at a computer and do my own thing, so I get to listen to audiobooks, which is nice. Anyways, that's the audiobook I'm listening to, and usually I listen to an audiobook and read a physical book at the same time, so I think I'm gonna balance out the cozy mystery with a horror set in the woods, and I think I'm gonna read Slewfoot by Brahm. My brother got this for me for Christmas, last Christmas, and since I'm a mood reader, I hadn't felt like reading it yet, but I want to read it now, and it's got some illustrations in the middle that are really creepy. I'll show you the ones that aren't scary in case you don't like looking at things that are scary, but they look cool. And I'll read you the synopsis. Connecticut 1666, which is scary, 666. An ancient spirit awakens in a dark wood. The wild folk call him father, slayer, protector. The colonists call him slewfoot, demon, devil. To Apatha, a recently widowed outcast, alone and vulnerable in her pious village, he is the only one she can turn to for help. Together, they ignite a battle between pagan and Puritan, one that threatens to destroy the entire village, leaving nothing but ashes and bloodshed in its wake. Yeah, so, that's kind of fun. It kind of sounds like The Witch, the A24 film with Anya Taylor-Joy in it. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. So, yeah, love that. Hopefully it'll be good. I'll let you know. So I am back. I am going to try to post more. I have a lot of ideas for videos. I've really been missing you guys, and lots of video ideas. I'm glad to be back. I don't know how often I'll post because I am very busy, but I'm gonna try to post, you know, more often than once a year. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and thanks for sticking around if you stuck around. And if you're new, welcome, hi. And I will see you all again very soon with a new video, but until then, happy reading.